Welcome to the Creative Plan Podcast Network. Join us as we share our favorite RPGs, one-shot games, tabletop games, reviews of items, and convention panels, and other exciting things that we run into from time to time. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Kelly, aka Trixie from Ragnarok and Roll, a Scion to Ragnarok story, and Tilda Wimblewick from D&D Journey of the 5th Edition. First off, I would just like to say thank you to everyone for listening to our varied adventures, as well as for rating us on iTunes and rpgpodcast.com. If you haven't rated us yet, we would greatly appreciate it if you could. And if you're looking for more ways to support our efforts, we are now on Patreon, a great site where you can help us continue making more podcasts, as well as some special surprises for our patrons. If you can, please look us up at www.patreon.com/cppn. Every little bit helps. And again, thank you for listening.
Alright. This is nice, Niels. I don't miss
I can watch your lightsaber if you don't want to take it with you.
It doesn't like you.
Oh, it puts it right there.
I mean, I like
You
threw up on me. Oh, you're like me. Yeah.
So if you are interested in a stormtrooper costume,
It's so big, right? Well,
so Joe, how much does it cost about to make a stormtrooper?
To make or to purchase the kit?
From start to finish. Tell us about the process of making a stormtrooper for our panel members.
Really?
Yeah.
Alright, you purchase the kit, which can range anywhere between $300 to $1,000, depending on where you get it from.
Whoa, why is it so expensive?
Pay for the quality of the work.
Because we're crazy.
Or you pay for the right particular.
And order the kit, and you assemble it. When you get it, you have to trim the armor because it comes off kind of whatever size, trim it down to fit you. Then you assemble it with the help of other members of the garrison, if you're lucky. Or you fumble along and then you beg for help after you messed up a couple of pieces.
Is this a person's one?
No. I just know people that have done that.
We've just heard the story.
We have a question. Yes, sir.
If you're building your Stormtrooper armor, is there a cool website you can go to find help and other fans of the 501st help you?
I would say join, there's the whitearmor.net and the
Well,
GNC
what if
Garrison.
he decides not to do Stormtrooper?
I mean, Sherm's built
Come
more
on
kits
in,
than I
guys.
have. Come on in!
Come on in.
You've built more kits than I have. Well, what are the sites I go to for assistance?
It's all about promotional
Pathfinders
flyers.
for your scouts. There's white armor for your troopers. There's the denim helmet for Boba Fett. There's Blizzard Force for AT-ATs.
There's tons of help out there. Now, everybody wants to join our fold.
And measure twice, cut once. Every time.
I measure
Five.
times.
We
Yeah,
have
12
websites for the
times.
different places to get help.
Cut, reorder, measure.
No.
That's the
little
trick.
bit by little bit.
Look up
Just to go
ABS
web
paste
surf
online.
super
Oh, God.
Continue till cry.
5 heat gun ruined part.
He got
No.
Why did my plastic shrivel?
Give up, pay someone who knows what they're doing, receive giant box.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna get back. We have 3 guests now.
And there's a
Super
shortcut.
exciting.
I know a couple of sites like Anavos, and there's another one in the UK that actually will sell you pre-assembled kits. You send them your measurements, and you can, and I've heard they're pretty good. I haven't heard anyone complain about it yet.
Josh,
And there's
But with Omnibus, you're waiting a year.
And
Yes.
well,
A year?
no, that's not true. They won't
I
send
ordered
it
that
all.
same kit.
Oh, okay.
He's wearing. I ordered that 2.5 years ago.
Still hasn't.
And I still haven't.
Okay.
Okay, let's go on for our second trivia question now. What is the second most popular kit in the 501st?
RS props.
Anybody that's not a member of the club right now?
Go for it. Give it a guess.
Take a guess.
Darth Vader.
The answer is TIE Pilot is the second most popular kit.
Why is that?
The Jolly Rogers.
That is an excellent. Oh my! We actually have a TIE Pilot with us today. You were not coerced at all.
The odds are 575 to 1, just so you want to know.
Don't tell me the odds.
Never tell me the odds.
So why don't you tell us, how did you make your kit?
I didn't. I bought it. I don't remember who made the box. Whoever it is, don't ever buy one from them.
Oh god.
Because this is like solid weight.
Oh.
So yeah, like this is like 15 pounds on the shoulders every single time I wear this stupid thing.
Oh jeez.
The helmet was made by Brian Petty.
He's a local guy.
Yeah.
He's a really nice local guy. Does really good work.
Yeah, he does. And the jumpsuit, like, there's tons of different websites and stuff that are where you can get jumpsuits for 501st stuff. I bought this all like together, so I'm not the best person
For our
to.
guests who have joined us. Welcome.
They just let us in.
Yeah, I know. We were talking about that.
You can't come in till 10,
And it
and
starts
then you have to stand in lines.
No, I just wanted
And
to-
something starts at 10.
Oh,
It was a test. If you were a rebel, you would have snuck in ahead of time.
and then we
only good noble Imperials would wait till the doors open.
He's here on time. There's a rebel right there.
He's already admitted, Jack.
Rebel out.
So for those of you that have just joined us, we're going down the most popular suits in the 501st. The number one being Stormtrooper,
Got one. Thank you.
or Sand Trooper when it turns you on. And number two being the TIE Pilot. There are quite a few variations of the TIE Pilot, and the new Battlefront exploded with new TIE Pilots that people can do now. So
Those are actually Inferno squad.
they can be pilots.
We have an Infernal member in Tucson.
yes, we do. And with the TIE Pilot, you can actually be in the TIE Pilot without the helmet and the rest of it. Just with the hat as a reserve pilot, that's something else too. So,
Which is a great starting point, too.
yeah, really good starting point if you don't want to spend too much money here. And the third most popular kit is. Anybody want to guess what the third most popular costume in the 501st
I'll give you a
is?
hint.
We actually have one that didn't coerce in here either.
I'm a hint.
Darth Vader.
Me, right?
Yeah.
It's a biker scout. So why don't you tell us about being a biker scout?
I like to hit trees.
300.
I hate Ewoks.
Don't all stormtroopers hate Ewoks?
I really hate them, though.
Endorian drop bears.
They stole my bike, so you know.
Oh,
That's all.
It's because they're taller than you.
This kit's very hot because I have 3 different layers of clothing on underneath the armor itself. So it does get hot, but it has benefits where I'm a lot more mobile than, say, a TK, where I can sit down and bend over.
This isn't about me.
I'm just saying. So yeah.
All right, how much would a biker scout? One of our fine guests was saying, I really want to be a biker scout because that tree needs to be hit and nobody is doing it. How much would it cost them to do that? Would you
It
say?
varies. I got mine with my helmet, and this was a few years ago. The helmet and all the armor, hard armor, was I think $650, but it varies depending on where you get it from, and depending on what material it is. And then I had a different helmet that I traded somebody to make me all the soft armor. So it came out to around, if I really wanted to put a number, around $1,100.
And every one of you has one of our super fun handouts, right? If you look on the one page, it has a list of all the different attachments. So if you said, I really want to be a costume, there is a website with other people that will help you. They'll tell you where to get stuff, who to buy it from, who not to buy it from.
eBay is not your friend.
And then this is important, the costume reference library.
And all the information is on there as well. So
That would be where you would go if you get stuck on something. There's an actual forum for that group of people, like for biker scouts. There's an actual forum like, I need help with this, and people are willing to help you, usually.
and that's for, and also you can get together with the local garrison, which is here in Tucson and up in Phoenix and up in Flagstaff.
Why am I not finding that?
We have armor parties. Let's say probably maybe every
Come
month
on
or
in.
so.
Hello. So we also have, those are the 3 most popular costumes. Well, Stormtroopers is Star Wars. TIE pilots are easy to wear and fairly easy to build, and biker scouts are just awesome, right? We also have Boba Fett, Revan, and we have a TFA Executioner. So who would you like to hear about next? If you love Boba Fett, raise your hand.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to do Boba Fett next. So tell us a little bit about your costume, what it's like to wear it, how much you paid for it, and any advice for other people that think, no, Boba Fett is a thing.
So I love this costume. I'm a little more mobile than a stormtrooper. Depending on how you attach your jetpack, you can't really bend down because mine is on a scuba harness, so it's clipped in, and if I lean forward, it will actually come unbuckled. So I've kind of got to stay straight up. It adds, I think, on average about 20 degrees to whatever room I'm in, so it gets a little warm. And for price for it, it varies depending on how much work you want to do. I have a friend who built the entire suit himself. It took him about 4 years, and I think he spent about $4,000 on it. In total for me, I didn't do this because I'm not good enough to do this, and it was about 10 grand for everything. But Boba they're really particular about, and all of the dents need to be in the correct place. I mean, Luigi's really particular about everything, but the paint job is mostly why it's expensive. It takes a lot of work to get the paint
He's
job.
the most expensive of all of them.
By a wide margin. Most are not that much money. It's like Boba, Vader, and then a huge drop off, and then everything else.
Okay, we also have Darth Revan, for those of you that love the expanded universe. Woo! Let's hear it for Darth Revan. Woo!
Yeah!
So I'm a very well-known character with most public. Usually at cons I'm pretty well recognized. Most people play the Knights of the Old Republic games 2003.
Yeah.
But in terms of the armor, also I'm not very clothes savvy, can't sew, none of that really got into that. So I did have a full commission from Wicked Armor. Very good site. He does a lot of work. He actually does French Republic Commando. If we're interested in that. Very good guy. Works with you. You can email him like, hey, how's the armor coming along? He busted all this out in probably about 2 months. He's very efficient how he gets it done. After it came in, I kind of worried. I did do my own boots. Finding those took me a little bit, about a day. Can't really see them, but. And after that, it was very quick approval. The armor in of itself, it is 3 layers of black linen, so it's very warm. Does breathe a little bit, especially down below the waist, in nice air conditioned rooms, but outdoor troops can be a little warm, especially in the Arizona heat. But it's fairly fun. I do have a little bit of mobility, more than a TK, that's for sure. You can sit and keep your back straight, but it's a fun, and it's very, very exciting when people recognize you, because it doesn't happen very often. So when that does happen, it's usually when people recognize you that they go crazy, because they also realize like, hey, not a lot of people recognize Kodar anymore. But hopefully they'll bring Revan to light again. So here's to hoping, but it's fun costume.
All right, thank you so much. And we also have our TFA, the Force, actually not TFA anymore, the Last Jedi Executioner, right over here.
And it's actually kind of a hybrid. There, 80% of this is Force Awakens too. The shoulder bells, the black yoke, my little black cap, which is over here, and then the helmet's different. Everything else is the same as Force Awakens. It's hard to talk about price with this one because it's a much more recent costume. The version I'm wearing was a prototype done by Anovos like 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago. So it was pretty pricey. It's actually licensed Lucasfilm, whereas most of our makers don't have to take on that cost. So my raw armor kit was like $1,800. But it's the most quality, most accurate one out there, so I don't regret it. But you can find kits now for half that for TFA or Last Jedi. Where you get killed is modern kits are getting a lot tougher over the older ones because they're spending so much money on these movies now. The old TKs were, mostly stuff you could get in hardware stores and other things. Now it's like they've got all these gaskets between all the layers and very hard to make and kind of expensive to commission out. So you might spend a few $100 just on the under parts. Boots are custom, totally custom, so you have to have someone make those. There's another $120. Gloves are custom. Everything's custom now. Even the materials they're using in the movies, we can't quite match perfectly anymore. The stuff in the movie is pretty cool, actually. It's like a rubbery material. It's super flexible, which would be amazing, but it's really heavy. A friend of mine had access to some screen kits, and he got to look at some pictures of if you lay the armor out on a table, it just lays flat, just floppy. great for actors to run around in, but costs about $20,000 to make just the armor the way they did for the movies. So we still stick with ABS, same stuff that this guy and that guy, this is made out of. It works great. It's also durable. Like our stuff is meant to last for years, not a quick shot and then get shredded. In the movie, the gaskets were rubber, and they're all falling apart after like 2 scenes. So we came up with better ways to do that for them to last a while. But yeah, there's a lot of pieces. There's neck seal, there's gaskets, there's boots, custom gloves. The helmets are not super cheap if you, and like has been said before, if you want to do it yourself, you could probably do one of these guys for $1,500, but you're doing a lot of work. You might be sewing your own gaskets and doing all your own paint job and all your own work. You can spend $3,000 or $4,000 if you want to commission the work. So it kind of depends on how you want to have it done and stuff. But again, the cool part is with a few extra parts, you can interchange. You can be 2 characters, actually more than 2 characters, because you can be the riot baton trooper, you can be the heavy gunner with a vest. The executioner parts, or if I just swap to my white shoulder bells and top and have a white version of that helmet, now I'm a standard Last Jedi trooper. That's been really nice. You can wear like 5 costumes in one. I suspect that's going to change in the next movie, so be curious, because it sounds like there's going to be a time gap probably. Nobody really knows yet, but it's a fun costume.
And not every costume costs $5,000. Just so that you know, if you're like, I want to join the club, $5,000 is too much to spend on the costume. We have Imperial officers, which are under $500.
Actually, Cosplay Sky, their Imperial officer's uniform is approvable. Just the suit itself. You can usually get, I think, about $150. Custom fit to you.
It's all the boots.
Yeah, boots are the tough part. And then you have to get the hat, which is probably about $100 there. What else do we have?
Insignia,
blaster, and the ring.
There are, we like to call them entry-level costumes, which are low budget, because, when I first started doing this, I thought paying $1,000 for a costume was the dumbest thing ever. And now I'm like, oh, it's only $1,000.
Yep.
Okay, so,
and those costumes actually add something. They're not just entry level. Like when we do parades and stuff, having officers there really gives a much better impression. So like, it's actually a good costume.
Yeah,
anyone out of armor is like very crucial to doing parades.
There's a lot of vision issues.
Yeah, we have no visibility. I can't see. Most of us can't see what the bug's on below this. I almost trampled a kid this morning already. So we got to be very careful. And if something gets dropped, we lose a piece. Most of it I can't.
That's where I come in.
Yeah.
We have wranglers.
Well, that's
usually
what,
the wives and kids of everybody, and we pick up all the fallen pieces, and we tell every guy, label it with your name, please.
Drop it. It's like
because if you drop it, we don't know whose it is, and if their name's on it, at least we know how to get it back to them. And they do cry when they lose a little piece. It may be a little piece of you.
It's serious.
But to them, it's like that bolt that can't be replaced. So, yeah, we keep them in a pile. We save them until we get them back to their right owner.
There's always that picture at the end of the convention. Who recognizes this?
Who's missing this?
So there's quite a few of you here now. So obviously you have a slight to greater interest in Star Wars or maybe costuming. So do we have any questions out here? Any questions? Like, I'm thinking I want to do this costume, but I want to know more. Any questions? Anybody have any thoughts on that? Any ideas? No? You guys? Yes?
So besides the Imperial officer, what's a good entry-level one that someone who's got some skills could make themselves?
Reserve TIE pilot.
And the other ones, for you particularly, because you already have Vandalore, would be a Tusken Raider.
Or Java. Be a tall Java, but
yeah.
The reserve tie is really good though, because like it also gives you access to like 3 other costumes besides just reserve TIE pilot. Like you've got the regular TIE pilot. I think the Death Star gunner wears a
Yes,
he does.
And I think there might be one more, but
Yeah,
it gives you access to and it gives you access to multiple.
Doesn't the
Navy trooper
the cheese grater.
with the dumb helmet.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that one.
Tuscans are fairly easy to make. I was actually looking at that just recently. There's an episode 2 Tuscans are much easier than the episode 4 Tuscans because they don't have a lot of extra hardware. And for example, I'm a Royal Guard sometimes, and the Royal Guard there's like 5 different versions of them, and I do the one from episode 2. Yes, there was a Royal Guard in episode 2. He's out of focus in the background for 1 second, and the difference between him is he's got 2 slits, so you can put both arms out. So if you're clumsy, it's easier to not fall. Okay, so let's move on. Does anybody thinking, if you want to do a question, let us know. We'll stop and answer any questions you have. If you do have a question but you're too shy, you can find us downstairs later. But yes, sir.
How did all of you guys find your love for Star Wars?
That's a fantastic question.
My love for Star Wars.
Find the DSG?
No, find out love
for Star Wars.
I said your local Star Wars. Well, I'm really old, so I remember when the first one came out, and I'm like, this is so much better than the other stuff.
You're good too.
Better. You can just leave.
Hey, your actual sci-fi, we have space wizards, so I mean,
yeah. And cowboys. Don't forget about cowboys.
Yeah. They have a lot of
I've got to say, the new Star Trek Discovery is fantastic.
Yes, it is.
Love that. That's what it is, right?
Hi, Dustin.
Hi, Dustin.
Is he the one you want me to lock the door?
Yeah.
Just keep it. I remember watching the movie as a kid, and I just really, really loved it. And I didn't think too much of it when the prequels came out. I really enjoyed those too. And then I decided that I wanted to do something more exciting than be a really boring school teacher. And I found out about this club, and I kind of jokingly suggested to my wife I'm going to join, and she thought I was crazy. And then I did join, and she still thought I was crazy. And then I started having so much fun because, I mean, you can go out every weekend, hang out with other people that love Star Wars, make some kids smile, and then go kick back and talk about Star Wars. Yep. And you can do it every weekend. You know, we actually just came back from Albuquerque. We hang out with complete strangers that love Star Wars. Now they're our friends. We go to California. So it's like being part of this big social group as well, which is more of the reason why I stay. That I love Star Wars.
Yeah, for instance, with me, I was born right in the middle of all the Star Wars first coming out. So I just grew up around it. It was Star Wars in the early 80s was everywhere. It was mania. And again, it was high quality versus everything else that was coming out. You go watch 1980s Flash Gordon and versus Empire Strikes Back. I dare you to take that challenge, young man, because you will be like, what is this?
Well, Birdman's awesome.
Flash Gordon's amazing. Yeah. Nothing like flying monkeys.
As for me, who's younger, and Star Wars wasn't coming out around when I was kind of in my teens. I was moving around a lot, and eventually I lived with one of my uncles, and Star Wars coming out when he was about my age, so we kind of like bonded over that as a very strong and my whole family's been crazy with Star Wars, so it's a very essential part of just our family life. You know, it's something I hope to pass on to my kids. My uncle, you know, I have little cousins now, and I do a lot of Star Wars stuff with them all the time. And so it's just kind of integrated into our family. It's just a huge part, so that's kind of where I found my love, because even with these guys, Star Wars is family. That's what the movies are about, really, enough.
Anyone else want to share why they love Star Wars so much?
Me.
Okay, the lady on the left.
I'm so bad. I loved it. Being a girl growing up, I was very odd for liking Star Wars because, you know, I'm old too. And so girls just didn't do that. But there was Princess Leia. Yay. And we loved her. And she was amazing. And as a character on the screen, she was this sassy princess nobody had ever seen before. It was new. And so I kind of done that. And my brothers couldn't make fun of me that much. Matter of fact, I got to play because I got to be Princess Leia. And so, and as I grew older, I passed it on to my nephews, and much to my brother's dismay. And now I pass it on to my own daughters, who they love it just as much as we. Well, yeah, we kind of push a lot more onto them, so they get a little tired, but anyway. I'll turn on the microphone. I probably can't hear me.
You should teach a voice.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So then, which costume do you have in the 501st?
Oh, I'm the emperor.
Oh.
Yeah. So the females, I know, I gender play just because he needed one.
That's
Kind
love.
of how it started for me is he goes, I'm going to make the costume. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, well, I'm not going to make this other costume. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's good. He goes, let's go to the guard. Okay, I need an emperor. Oh, you're it. And then I became the emperor. He kept telling me, oh, you'd be so good as the emperor. I'm like, okay. It was, yeah, weird compliment, but it turned out great. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I like it like more than I ever thought I would.
Yes, gentleman in the back.
If I could just add to that, so we have a bunch of guys dressed up here, but if you put a helmet on, any female can wear any of these costumes and be perfectly acceptable. And the cool thing about Star Wars is recently is that it empowers most women. So you have like the Rogue One, where you have Jyn Erso, who's the lead character, and then obviously Rey is in the new movies. And so I have a daughter who, at the tender age of 7, wore a TK, and she was like this tall in a TK armor, which is the regular stormtrooper. And most of us would get upset because when she would walk in, she would take all of the information. Like everybody would go to her as a little tiny stormtrooper. But then when the new movies came out, she wanted to be a Rey, or had to be a Rey. And so she's got that, and then you'll see her downstairs. Now she's a TIE pilot, so she's got a new Inferno Squad TIE pilot. My wife also does a TIE pilot. And then I think the biggest issue with costuming is it kind of becomes addictive. And what you find is like, hey, I started off with, I actually bought a Boba Fett costume in 2007 that I've never worn. And with the advent of 3D printing, I've now kind of accomplished everything and put everything together. But now my 15-year-old son, who's taller than I am now, wears that costume. And there's a kids version as well it's called the Galactic Academy if you're not 18 or above, and it really accepts any costume. You can buy something off the Walmart shelf and be part of that Star Wars costuming group. But the addiction is real because that's probably a perfect example. Every time I see a Facebook post, he's got something new that he's either building, and I've got 2 different Boba Fett's. So they have the Empire. He's got the Return of the Jedi version, which is what we call a multicolor.
Yeah, especially on the jetpack.
So the jetpack is yellow and blue. The Empire Strikes Back version is mostly like a sage green. It's all one color. And then they have the special edition, which is a mix of both, actually. And see, Lucas thought we wouldn't figure that out when he put different helmet with the costume, and we did. So there's multiple versions of each costume that you can do as well. But I myself have 5 different costumes. I'm sure I'm probably low man when it comes to some of these guys.
I only have 1
left.
Yeah. I've only got 2.
But you'll find that I try to build all of my kids' costumes, which again I'm in the same boat as Jen and Niels. I'm kind of old, so I remember seeing it when I was a kid, and then I've taken my kids to all the new ones and kind of watched how they've developed their love for Star Wars, and they really didn't have a choice. I mean, let's be honest. Like, if I love it that much, they're gonna kind of like it. But it's just a fun hobby, and to go to a celebration or a con or something like that, and it's just you find out that the little nerd inside of me that wanted to dress up when I was a kid, and my first costume was C-3PO. that my dad just made cardboard tubes and painted in gold. And then I had a Steve Rogers mask, which was the $6 million man, that he just spray painted gold. Right? And then I walked around for Halloween I mean, everybody asked who I was, but you just have fun with it, and you meet great people, and your family actually is no longer just inside your house. It's this great worldwide community. I've met people from all over the world at different conventions.
10,000 strong.
Yeah, absolutely. So I remember when I got my number, it was 4 numbers, and it was we all get assigned a number, and 4 numbers, and I was like, wow, man, that's a lot of people. Like, God, they'll take you up to 9,999 people, and now we're well into 5 digits. So, but it's fun, guys. It's an amazing community.
And the 501st also takes costumes from rebels, the show rebels, if you're the bad guys, not the good guys. I care if we don't want. But we have a club for that. And then the Clone Wars, we have plenty of costumes from that. The ones the Clone Wars cartoon or the Clone Wars movies. And how many people here have watched Star Wars Resistance yet? I watched half of one episode. It seems pretty good. I didn't see any bad guys in there yet, but if they are, we'll take them as well. So.
Oh, there's that red time out.
I didn't get that far yet.
It's the very beginning.
Well, it's a new channel, so I have to hide it online. So yeah.
Okay, sure.
Anybody else want to share what made them love Star Wars? Anyone from the audience? Because you guys are all obviously love Star Wars, or just going to the one place.
Why do you love Star Wars? I don't love Star Wars. I just wanted to sit down.
I'm pretty much in the same boat as he is. I mean, I joined 4 digits, over 10 years ago, and I ended up with a bunch of OG guys. Ended up forming the squad down here below Phoenix, and this is our 10th anniversary this year. So we've been going 10 years, doing events, visiting kids in hospitals. I don't know if you guys saw a bunch of Star Wars guys talking to kids over there by the front door. That was a experience that only the Rebel Legion and our partner groups, the Mando Mercs, us, get with Comic-Con to meet those families for the 1 hour that they get to come in before the rest of the crowd, and they're all got pediatric patients, kids with various issues, but we get to give them a common experience. So it's a small thing, it's a small example of the amazing stuff that we get to do with this hobby. So, but the cool thing is that it's accessible. I mean, a lot of people, will look at, Clint and be like, oh my God, that suit's amazing, but it may be out of my range, but Braden next to him, wearing the TIE Pilot,
this is also amazing, by the way.
What's that?
It's also amazing. It's just cheaper.
It is amazing. It is amazing, and that's why I have one. And that was the first costume that I got approved in, was a TIE Pilot. And what's funny is I came back around, and 10 years later, I got another TIE Pilot. So, but the great thing about it is you take the chest box off, and he's still in an approved costume. They had Imperial officers or Imperial crew members wearing the exact same stuff walk around the Death Star, and the Star Destroyers. And it's cheaper, so it's accessible, and it's a great entryway into a great hobby. And then if you want to go from there, get some armor. Then you're a TIE Pilot. Then you have 3 costumes: the Bridge Crew, which is gloveless; the TIE Reserve, which is the TIE Fighter pilot costume that he's wearing now, but with gloves; and then the full TIE Fighter, which is everything he's got plus the helmet. So that's why I love it, So
you forgot one version. You got the Vader version when he's mistaken for Vader.
Oh.
If you're a black costume,
that's a running joke here. Is that Anybody? How many times do you hear it?
I don't hear Vader very often, but I hear Kylo Ren a lot.
So, just like our Mandalorian merc friends, how many times do they go up to them and say, "Hey, it's Boba Fett," and they're just like, "Oh yeah, all right, I'm Boba Fett. You want a picture?" But it's fun. So what's funny is I've been a Star Wars fan my whole life. The first movie I saw in the theater was Empire Strikes Back, and that one stuck with me. Because my wife Michelle, she knows. She's like, "Oh, I know, goddamn." Go on and on about it. And But then the cool thing is that how the squad formed was kind of funny. Is that I was bored out of my mind one day, and I'm like, let's see if there's any kind of fan club in town. So I got online and I found one called the Fan Force, and it was just a fan club. So I went and I met with them. They were meeting at a library, and only like 3 people showed up. And I walked in, and I'm like, I hung out for a little bit. We talked, and it was mostly about just kind of sitting around and talking about stuff. Damien showed up, Kat showed up, somebody else. I don't remember, but maybe Jake. I don't remember. But anyway. The bottom line is, I walked out going, these guys are a bunch of freaking nerds. I'm not going to hang out with them. And it ended up being a biggest mistake of my life, because then when I went, I wasn't going to go back, but then Hurricane Katrina hit, and they all got together and decided to do a clothing drive for Hurricane Katrina. That was the big thing. It was huge down here. People just make clothing drives over and over. So I'm like, all right, that's cool, so I'll go to that. So I go to that to help out. But they happened to put in a call to the Boonsey Garrison in Phoenix, and they sent down some stormtroopers. And they sent down one with an extra sand trooper, like Joe's wearing here, that was actually meant for somebody else. It was meant for Frankie, but he got sick, so they're like, hey, you want to put it on? I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So I put it on, and it's like, I felt like an instant action figure. I mean, people are like driving down Grant Road, almost rear-ending each other to get a picture of me as they drive by, and it was a blast. Kids were flipping out. People would stop in the middle of Grant Road, jump out, run up to me to just give me a hug, and then get back in their car and leave. I'm like, what the hell happened? Did I get molested? You know? But that was it. So I was sold. So long story short, we ended up slowly building up some numbers. We got squad status, which is you have to have 10 members or more. Right now, even though you don't see them all at once, that'll be a miracle. We are sitting at like 45 squad members in below Phoenix. So I know Seth is like, that's a bunch of bullshit. Never see those guys. So we just never see them all together. But the great thing about it is it's accessible, and now just like you, I mean, so many of what you said just mirrors, what my daughter is now Black Academy. She's got a TIE pilot. My son is Galactic Academy in a shore trooper that he's going to be wearing later today. So if you see a shore trooper, you guys know who that is? It's the tan, newer troopers from Rogue One. But it's made out of foam, because when they're under 18, you get away with a little more. It's made out of foam, but you wouldn't really tell unless you went up and actually looked at the fine details or picked it up. And I got to take them trooping with me. We've done the zoo, we've done charity walks, and they just love it. And it's a lot of fun, I think, right? So it is again a way of life. So and it's easy, and I love it for the exact same reason you said too. Is I went to Celebration 5, which is the 5th one ever. It was the anniversary of Empire Strikes Back. I didn't know anybody. All right, but I walk into the hotel, and there's there's a lady with a Rebel Legion lanyard. Pins, you can tell, when we're off duty, you can always still tell who we are because we bling ourselves out, like he's wearing one of our shirts. And instantly, something in common. I'm in a bar with the Australian garrison. They don't know how to use our money. I'm teaching them how to use our money, and we're instantly talking about Star Wars. The Belgian garrison builds all the amazing, huge props you might see on the banner there, life-size TIE fighters. And stuff like that. Wood must be free there or something, because all that stuff they bring to Celebration, and it's amazing. I can barely speak their language, but we're all just sitting there, talking to each other, comparing costume parts. We have something instant in common. So it's a community, and that's what really draws it to me. And we can use it for charity purposes. We've done hospital visits where we know that we're not going to see the child again. We know that they're not going to make it. But we've had nurses come out. I've got crying because they say that this little girl is smiling. I get choked up because there's one little girl that Seth might remember that she hadn't. She were told right off the bat she wasn't going to make it. We went there with a whole tray of pop figures. Remember the big old box?
I heard about
it. Of a big old thing of pop figures, Star Wars guys that Fantasy Comics gave us, and I wanted to give her. I gave her one, but she liked so many. I gave her the whole freaking box, And her family later on sent us a message that said that because of our visit, she helped plan her own wake, knowing it was coming, and she made it a party instead of something sad because of our visit. So.
And we had to do good stuff too. I've been there twice now when a kid got to go home from getting cancer treatments. Like they were cleared. And they only have like a small group of people there. Like they don't let the world in. It's very private. And they invite us. But you're like, what am I doing there? But then, is it Cardin's where they get to bang the gong? Or is it Phoenix Children's? One of them where they get to bang a gong and sign the wall before they leave after they've gone through.
Cardin's.
And it's just crazy standing there with a family who you've never met. But because you're Star Wars, they wanted you there for that, and the kids take pictures, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's and I'll never, I'll do this for as long as possible. It's a blast. So, and then for every piece of charity that we do, we just have stupid fun. Just coming out here to a con, pretending to blast each other, really blasting each other with Nerf guns for charity, whatever. It's a good time.
And don't forget playing with Batman because we get a cross.
I know, right? I mean, where else can you go, like here at this con, jump into the Starlight Pit, wrap big fake chemical around you, and it's okay. It's not weird.
And we also do a lot of, the hospital visits and the walks are one thing. We also do a lot of other things that are fun too. That's fun as well, but on a lighter note, because we are Lucasfilm approved. You may be saying stuff, I look at the costumes, they're really, really picky. Things like that. Basically, if Lucasfilm needs Star Wars characters for a promotional event, we're the people they call. So we'll go out, like we've done Weird Al, when he toured, we'd be the guys on the stage who called the 501st, so we'd go. So we've been playing on stage with Weird Al, which is pretty ridiculously crazy. When there's the movie premieres, you go and there's all the Star Wars characters running around. That's us.
Praise in Disney.
The Praise in Disney.
How many troopers years and years ago did the Rose Parade? It was a massive.
That was in 2010, right?
Yeah.
Was it 200 or 100?
He chose 2 troopers from every garrison, right? And he flew them in from all over the world, paid for it for himself.
If you see like commercials, like Force Awakens, TFA Rogue One, Nissan commercials, all those Duracell commercials, 80% of those guys running around are our troopers getting paid by Disney to be there. It's pretty cool. And related, really cool side note, everyone here have Rogue One on Blu-ray? If you watch the behind the scenes, our costume reference library is up on their computer as they're designing stormtroopers. They're literally looking at our references to figure out, because our crazy Uber nerds have spent so many years studying, screenshots, that sometimes Lucasfilm even takes a look at us to see, like, how does that, what's going on behind the scenes here? And it's really little stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Some of them could be murdered homicide detectives.
Yeah.
They were like, this English guy in 1975 put that divot on that forearm in that piece of armor, and they figured it out. So.
For instance, like my sequence here that keeps flashing, if you've noticed it, there's a guy on the Denon helmet who took the HD version of Empire Strikes Back and just hit play and pause repeatedly and then recorded how many seconds it was in between each individual change, including like when he turns around, he calculates that time to see how much time has changed in between each different iteration. So he spent I don't even know how many times just pausing in the HD thing. And they do that for every costume. It's that ridiculous with the details.
So that's why I'm happy just having somebody else do it, and then I'll buy it.
I don't want to do that. That sounds awful.
Yeah, that sounds horrible.
Unless you're him, then you
He sits there and play.
I used to.
Yeah, you used to.
How many references of Cad Bane again?
a
Yes,
lot.
it can be.
Everyone.
If you have OCD, this is a good hobby for you.
Yes.
Well, no, I made the very foolish decision to make Kylo Ren before the movie came out, so I could experience that premiere new character thing, which was awesome, by the way. And so I made the costume based mostly off of leaked images. And the very first time I wore it was when they released all the toys, and we went to a Walmart, and it was badly advertised and everything else. But at the end of the, they would put all the toys out at midnight. I'm a school teacher, I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning anyway, so I got 3 hours of sleep. So the toys came out, I buy all the Kylo Ren toys. I'm sitting at home going, oh man, I did it wrong, and wrong, and wrong, and wrong. And it's totally ruined the costume because I did it all wrong because there was no reference pictures. And so, that's why, nowadays, if there's a costume from a new movie I want to make, I will wait until they know what it's supposed to be. Like, for example, the fabric that Kylo Ren is made out of, that's everything from the new movies is custom-made special fabrics now. So anything from, Force Awakens on is going to cost you a ton more money. And there was a guy in Britain that actually custom wove that fabric. It was $70 a yard, and you needed 10 yards to make the costume. And you had to wait 7 months to get it. And I figured out how to make the costume with 6 yards. And now, if you go to Joann's, you can buy the fabric for $15 a yard from Yaya's Cosplay line as Dark Knight. So, patience. Like, I would not recommend doing a costume from the brand new movies unless you have a lot of money or you just have to make it. So.
Another interesting thing on that is sometimes whenever a new movie comes out, because I remember looking, as soon as I watched Force Awakens, I went home and I'm like, I'm going to look at the CRL for Kylo Ren. And I did, and it was wrong. It was no zippers on the arms. None at all. You can't have those. And I'm like, he did though. He definitely had zippers on them.
The CRLs changed. When the CRL dropped, there was an under tunic, which is a third layer of black fabric that I didn't have. And I watched the movie, it's not there. And so then I spent $1,000 extra fixing my costume so I could have that stupid wool tunic underneath everything else, right? And now that I'm also the only Kylo Ren in Phoenix that has all 3 layers, and now when I walk, it sways differently. Okay, I'm cool with that. I'll be that guy. But now they realize that he actually wears 5 different costumes in The Force Awakens. He keeps changing it out. So it's become an optional accessory now. So you don't need to have that third wool tunic. But I'm wearing it because it cost me $1,000. So yeah, if you want, do your research. I know people always love the classic trilogy. I mean, you could be a TFA trooper, but you're always going to be a stormtrooper, right? Mm-hmm. So people, because they know the classics, stick around. So.
It's most important to do what you like.
Yeah.
That's the key. You make something you want, not because you feel like you should make something else, or it doesn't matter. Just make what you want, and then you'll have a lot of fun.
Ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, and I know it makes it seem like it's a little complicated and things change, but the reason why they are so strict is we are representing Lucasfilm when we're out there. So our costumes are screen accurate for the most part. We don't want someone to come out there and some thing and at a Star Wars night at the Diamondback Theater or something like that. Oh, who got that guy out there? So we are representing Lucasfilm when we're doing charity and promo stuff.
And there is lots and lots and lots of help. I mean, I'm sure everybody who's got our little flyers, there's all the different CRL we have. Time?
Yeah.
5 more minutes.
2 minutes. 3 minutes.
Okay, so who wants some pictures with these fabulous costume people? All right, that's what you're here for, right? So let's get you guys kitted up. Get some awesome pictures.
Yeah,
just chop liver.
Hey, if Vader shows up, then I'm chopped liver.
Exactly.
Or Don.
Or R2D2.
Yeah. Or Don.
Nice.
If you have any questions you don't want to ask in front of everybody, come find us. We'll answer questions.
Oh, Chris, when you get to the ground.
We have the Cosplay Jedi Institute.
Well, Keith, I mean, if you guys think any questions you want to
I mean, I don't know.
I don't either.
Oh, you don't even get.
What I get is
This is also like my nose hits the front. Like it's really like
It's kind of like it's just everything's.
Should we go to the back?
Yeah, you guys.
Excuse me.
It's all the same color. It's all. The original.
Thank you for listening to the Creative Play and Podcast Network. And feel free to enjoy our other shows, such as D&D Journey of the 5th Edition and Scion Ragnarok and Roll, a Scion hero to Ragnarok story. Thank you for listening.